4 of Behringer's new SL75C mics just arrived, and the first thing I did was put one on an amp. Obviously, the mic is only going to be as good as the amp that it's on. It's not the best amp, but I'm a Helix user, so this Viper is the only hardware amp that I own. And it was the 2010 Music Messy International Press Award winner for Best Guitar Amp Combo, for whatever that's worth. I say this so you keep in mind its limitations as a 10-year-old modeling amp with an 8-inch speaker, and don't penalize the mic for that. The second thing I did was record this voiceover. In both scenarios, the mic is running into a Native Instruments Complete Audio 6 Mark I, and the first thing I noticed is this mic is not noisy at all. The hiss you'll probably hear is from the analog delay and distortion pedals. Here's an audio example of that pedal noise kicking in when the pedals turn on. The next thing I noticed was a smooth high-end response. It is not harsh at all, and usually with the more affordable microphones, you're going to get a pretty brutal high-end response that's kind of harsh and grating on your ears. The mid-range response was the next thing that stood out to me, not only through listening back to my intro voiceover, but also through listening to the high-gain guitar parts. There is a strong low-mid presence, but it's surprisingly as defined as it could be and not muddy at all. I'm actually very impressed with it. As for that low end, I'll be exploring that more later. I did actually pick up some subharmonic content on the amp all the way down to 30 Hertz. That's a plus because if I ever need that for sound design or field recording, it's useful. But typically with traditional instruments, you'll be putting a low cut at 40 Hertz, even for bass guitar, where the fundamental frequencies are typically between 40 and 400 Hertz. But like I said, that's something I'll experiment with more as I use this mic more. As things stand with my first impressions after 24 hours, I'm really impressed, and I can't imagine a better mic exists at this price point. And I do know, since it's been announced, a lot of the response has been that the SM57 is already cheap at $100. I've been using SM57s for 10 years. My first mic was an SM57, and it's great, but I think there's better mics on the market at $100. Regardless, comparatively, yeah, $100 isn't a lot of money. Certainly not when you look at the cost of amps or instruments or even other mics. But if you're 13 years old or you have other financial priorities, $100 is a lot of money. That's gas money, that's grocery money, that's ointment for your cat's eye infection. Beyond that, what if you need more than one mic? Maybe you're a drummer, you put a couple grand in outfitting your kit, and now you want to record it. So you need an interface, maybe an external preamp, and then about half a dozen mics. Do you want to spend $500 for SM57s to be your tom and snare mics? Or do you want to spend $100 on those and then get some stands and a couple of condenser mics? Maybe you play through a 4x12 or an 8x10 and you already have a fancy microphone, but you want to add another good dynamic into the mix. Maybe you want to spend as little as possible to start a podcast about 90 Day Fiancé. I don't know what your wants and needs are, but I'm certain if you're on a tight budget, or even if you're not, you'll be happy with the SL75C. Thanks for watching. I'll more than likely be making more videos if life continues to go well, hopefully. So if you're interested in those and enjoyed this one, please leave a comment or subscribe so I know that you're interested.